Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Wittman. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The seeds bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Z, on today's show, we're interviewing a man who has coached fighters to 18 combined world championships.
Is that possible?
In the MMA sport, kickboxing,
Wow.
professional boxing.
Unbelievable.
And he shares with us why we shouldn't let other people hold us back. My man, that's a powerful knowledge.
That's a powerful knowledge. And he also talks to us about how to fight through your fears.
He also talks to us about it. He provides us that inside look into the world of boxing, which I couldn't get into. The MMA thing, which I couldn't get into. The kick. Basically, he walks us into violent fighting sports that I wasn't qualified to be in.
I don't know, because they couldn't have headgear big enough for your head?
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime show.
Now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Thrivetime show on your radio and podcast download, and another edition of your audio dojo of Mojo that you go to. Faux show. Z, welcome back to the Thrivetime show.
I'm so glad to be back, and I'm so excited about our guest today because I have a big vision dream I want to cast for Trevor. So I'm just telling you, when we're ready for that, this is going to be something. This is going to be something big.
Let me tee up today's guest, okay? This guy has he's a coach. He's coached MMA, kickboxing, and boxing people to a championship. Okay, and so boxers, kickboxers, MMA professionals. He's coached. So he has at least 3 world championships. You know, he's credited for coaching the athlete, but he's done it 18 times.
Wow.
Z, that might be a world record. Trevor Wittman, welcome onto the Thrivetime show. How are you?
I am wonderful, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, brother, I'm a little bit scared of you because of your sparring skills here. So I'm just going to ask. I'll try not to offend you. I don't want to get drop kicked from Denver. But here we go. How did you get here? I mean, you are now this massive success, 18-time world champion. Where did it start? What was life like growing up for you in Connecticut?
Well, I traveled a lot. So I moved to Connecticut when I was 12 years old. My dad was a store opener for Home Depot, so I did a lot of traveling. And my early life was full of lots of bullying. I was bullied a lot, and so I started in martial arts. And I always loved boxing. Me and my father would watch boxing, and I was always intrigued on how these guys could talk stuff about each other's moms and then go and hug each other after the bout was over. And it just intrigued me. And being bullied, I started in martial arts and would start boxing when I was age 13.
Did you take to the technical aspects of boxing, the skill of it pretty quickly, or was it hard for you to gain? Was it you guys? I mean, just watching. See, when you watch a pro boxer, I mean, it is ridiculous how coordinated and how skilled they are. I mean, did it take you a while to kind of get comfortable, or how long did it take you before you felt like you were, getting your game together?
It's very unique because starting in martial arts or karate, it was all technique and katas and practicing your moves over and over. And I did some point fighting prior to doing boxing. And I got a funny story. I actually went into my buddy's boxing gym and I was watching him spar, and the coach looked over me and asked me if I wanted to do some boxing and maybe do some sparring. And I told him, yeah, I do karate and, maybe at some point. And he said, cool, take this waiver home and have your parents sign it. So I took the waiver home, asked my parents to sign it. My dad refused to sign it. So, being the wild little kid I was, I signed the waiver. And my first experience in the ring, I got in there thinking I was very talented and this good karate guy. I remember lasting about 30 seconds, and I was looking through the ear hole of the headgear when the coach stopped it.
Wow.
And, man, the guy, he just brought it to me. And I don't know if you ever seen Something About Mary, but the time when he brings Brett Favre in and then he steps out the door and he's crying, that was me walking home that day. I was crying, and every time the car went by, I'd toughen up, and then I'd cry as the car went by again. But, when it comes to boxing is just true war. Like, you go in there, and in the beginning, there's not much technique. It's just really, bite down on your mouthpiece and swing big punches. And I didn't go back to the gym for about a month. I ended up feeling sorry for myself, and I went back. And then my father found out I was doing boxing because he seen in the newspaper that I had won the regionals, and I was doing this all behind his back. And he ended up becoming a big fan of what I was doing and pushing me hard. But kind of funny story. I kind of crossed the line a little bit, started my boxing career.
Tip number 1, sign your own waiver.
Tip number 1 is a juvenile. Yes.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I
my
don't
bad.
recommend that.
Sorry.
I don't recommend that. Not at all. But
Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes I take non-tips and turn them into tips. I lost to make a point.
Take back that tip.
Take back that tip, kids. Don't do that. This just in. All right. So my next question here for you, Trevor, is you got to be very good. So how long did it take you to get some traction? Were you 15, 18, 22? How old were you when you started to just get it done?
So I boxed from 13 to 17, and I took a year off after that, but I had close to 100 fights. It was high 80s, and only lost 4 bouts. So I had a very, very good record. I was a very talented kid, and I called it the 3-monther. I'd go in and train for 3 months and have a whole bunch of fights. Because back when I was boxing, I'm 43 now, we would fight 3 times a day in tournament style. And then I'd take 3 months off. So I lacked the consistency, but man, I was super talented, and I felt like I was growing as a fighter. But my real traction and my love for the sport was when I was injured, and I actually got to coach and found out what my real passion was giving back. And I never got emotional when I won a fight, but every time my fighters would win, it would bring a tear to my eye. And, finding out that helping people get to their goals was something I wanted to do.
So how many, I guess you've had 18 fighters that you've had a chance to coach into a world championship there. Could you maybe share the names of some of these folks for the folks out there? Maybe there's a name that some of our listeners would know, or some of the names of the fighters that you've coached throughout your long career?
Yes, in boxing it was Verno Phillips, J.C. Candello. Kickboxing, Bang Moit is Dwayne Bang Ludwig. In UFC, it was Rashad Evans. I had a chance to work with George St. Pierre. Shane Carlin was one of my champions, Rose Namajunas. But the list goes on. And I've been in MMA for probably the last 12 years. And I've really fell in love with the full aspect of fighting because there's so many different ways it can go.
Yeah, Trevor, so, okay, you're fighting now. You're 17. You take a year off. When did you start becoming a coach and kind of monetizing? And how did that transition happen? I mean, you just saw a buddy in the gym and you said, dude, you're not doing that right. I mean, how did you make that transition? And then when did you start to monetize that? How did that look?
So is when I moved to Colorado, and I was actually going to turn pro, and I was injured in sparring. And I had a punctured lung, and I went and seen if a doctor told me I shouldn't box no more, so I didn't really listen to that. I went to another doctor and he told me the same thing. And then, now I'm an older kid, so I'm, taking advice from my parents and asking what they thought, and they were just totally against it. And it was something that I dreamed of, it was my passion, it was what I obsessed. And I was seeing a counselor at the time, and she goes, well, why don't you become a manager? Why don't you do something in the sport? So I decided to pick up some mitts and start holding for other athletes that I was, training with. And I just fell in love with it. It's, again, that it was probably the biggest down part of my life, because, again, this is something I look forward to for so long. And then, again, I found a new love. So I only stayed in that position for a short period of time of the depression of it. But coaching brought me right back out.
Well, that's great. You were given lemons, and you just turned them in, made a lemonade out of it. I love that. So how did that work? So you pick up some mitts, you got your buddy out there, and he's sparring with you, or he's hitting your mitts, or I'm not sure exactly the terminology of it. But all of a sudden, when you're done, you look at him and said, well, that'll be $35, please. I mean, how did you go from just kind of helping buddies out to going, here's a bill, or you want to pay me, or how about a little money, a little something for the effort? I mean, how'd that work?
So I actually started a little gym in my basement, and I started doing it for probably about 6 months, and I was coaching amateurs and taking into amateur events. So we were competing at an amateur level, and then there was a fighter named Bruno Phillips who came into my gym. I now opened a gym and rented out a place, and he was a former world champion. And he came in just to use the gym, and I remember the first day he was in there, I was starstruck. I mean, this is a high-level boxer. And about 2 or 3 days after he was in the gym, he asked me to hit mitts with him. And then he comes into my office and he goes, hey, are you ready to go to up to Yuma, Washington? And I said, for what? He said, you're going to be my coach. And my first experience as a professional coach was on ESPN Friday Night Fights main event.
Wow.
And I'll never forget it. I got interviewed by Teddy Atlas. I was nervous. I was stuttering. It was just a funny experience. I kind of laugh at it now. One of the funniest parts about it is Bruno's getting ready to walk out, and the TV cameras turn on, and we're getting ready to do our walk. And he turns around and looks at me, and he's like shadowboxing, and he looks at me and he goes, he's like, yeah, bro, you're gonna do good. And I'll never forget that he told the coach he's gonna do good, and it just cracks me up. But he won a world championship that first year, and it was just a good process, man. Starting young and starting with the world champion as a coach really built my belief in what I was doing and what I could do for other athletes.
Now, I am notorious for doing this there, and if you don't like this question, and you hang up, that'll be my code. You didn't like the question, okay? But see, I have some sound effects here that I've queued up. This is without Trevor's permission. Justin Wren, our mutual friend, introduced us, and so I said, Justin, do you think it's okay if I put microphones all over his office without him asking for the next few months in preparation? And he says, absolutely not. I said, okay. So I've got some audio here of what I think was his training session today. And that, Trevor, I'd like for you to explain to me, if this is not your actual audio, I might have the wrong file.
You might have it.
I would like for you to explain to me what you actually do in your training sessions. Let me cue it up real quick. This is what I believe to be audio of Trevor coaching an athlete as recently as yesterday. So let me cue it up here. This is... Wait, so let me get it. There it is. Now, this might be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or it could be Trevor. Okay, first off, have you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the video game? Have you ever played that game?
Yes. And that was actually we were fighting Soto Popinski.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Let's see if you can.
I'm surprised that you were able to get that.
Well, let me see if I can cue the next one. Let's see if you can tell who this is. Here we go. Let me get this one. Wait a second. Here we go. Who's this?
Is he the heavy set opponent?
Yes.
On Mike Tyson.
This guy's on fire. He does like boxing.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I have one more audio clip, and Justin said...
Stepping him on a video game. That's pretty good stuff.
Now, Justin Wren, he said, listen, I met Justin Wren because he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was crazy enough to reach out to Justin. Now he's spoken at our conferences. Yada, yada. Anyway, Justin Wren, he's sort of a big deal. This is the audio, and Justin said, whatever you do, do not play this sound clip while you're interviewing Trevor, to which I said, so anyway, so let me cue it up. Let me cue the audio. This is what Justin promised to have. People said, please promise you won't play this. And I said, I can't say that. So here we go. This is what I got.
I want you to try, listen to me. I want you to try to chase this little chicken.
Now, this is Trevor Wittman coaching his client earlier this morning.
What do I gotta chase a chicken for? It's embarrassing, you know?
First, because I said so. And second, because chicken chasing is how we always used to train in the old days.
Yeah.
You catch this thing, you can catch greased lightning. Ready?
Yeah, well, I'd rather eat it than chase it. It ain't very mature, but
Now, okay, so do you do the chicken chasing method, or talk to us? What are your coaching sessions look like?
Yeah. So Mick from Rocky is a big inspiration. And hey, if you're chasing chickens, you can catch a chicken. You got to ask Justin Wren about this. Rampage Jackson on season 10, when I met on The Ultimate Fighter season 10.
Yeah.
Justin Wren was on that season when I met him, and Rampage played a goof on us and put chickens in our car, and we actually got to chase chickens, and it was the hardest thing ever. Trying to catch those chickens was nuts. We let them out of the car in Vegas, and they were so hot. We were trying to corner them so we could get them all grouped up and get them sent back to wherever you got them. But I'll never forget chasing chickens. You got to have good footwork to catch chicken.
And tell us what show that was you were on for the listeners out there that aren't familiar with that show.
That was the Ultimate Fighter season 10, Rashad Evans versus Rampage Jackson, and that's when I met Justin Wren. Was on that season. I had the opportunity to work 3 Ultimate Fighter seasons: season 17 with Shane Carwin, and then also season 23 with Justin Gaethje, my current athlete.
So when you're not playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, chasing chickens, or coaching world-class athletes, tell us about OnyxSports.com. What is OnyxSports.com?
So it's a company that I started, and it all started by need. I actually borrowed my mom's sewing machine and started making equipment because the equipment that's being manufactured at the moment just wasn't holding up. So I reverse engineered some mitts, and they don't have left and right mitts, which is just crazy to me because the left hand and the right hand's totally different. And I got smaller hands, so I was always trying to squeeze and hold the mitts from flying off. So I started making my own mitts, and I brought them into the gym, and I have about 15 coaches at my gym at that time, and 10 of them wanted mitts. So I sold 10 products within probably a week, and they loved them. And when I was at different events in the locker rooms warming my guys up, my network of coaches and brothers in the industry would say, "Where'd you get those?" And I ended up becoming about a year behind on making custom equipment for people. And I realized that this is a real thing, that people are needing premium equipment in the combat sports world.
Trevor, growing up, boxing was the thing, right? For me, I'm 54 years old, and I mean, boxing, that's what it was about. And then all of a sudden, it kind of switched over. I don't know how many years ago exactly, but this MMA, just roared up. I mean, it just became very popular. Now, I'm sure it's $1 billion business and $1 billion industry, right? I mean, that thing is just crazy now, right? Almost took boxing to the back shelf a little bit almost. And now we have this kickboxing. We have different variations of the MMA and all that, the octagon and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. I've got something I wanted to talk to you about. It's a business idea, business plan that I think could be $1 billion industry. And I just wanted to share it with you and nobody else, because I figure you being on the inside, we could be on the ground floor.
Well, let me. We have about 500,000, about 500,000.
Well, they're not going to pay. They're all on break right now.
Ninja listeners.
Ninja. Oh yeah.
Just mute it down real quick.
Mute it
down. Mute it down. We don't have to get physical with you guys. We want to make sure we keep this secret.
Physical.
Okay, so I think we're ready now.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about starting a world league of just donkey kicking. In other words, it's 2 guys fighting, and all they're doing, the only move you could do is a mule kick or a donkey kick. And then that's it. The whole fight, and it's called and we have a really cool looking donkey as a logo.
I think you're into something. Why would you not watch that? I mean, that is entertaining at the fullest. Yeah. I've always thought about doing something called Tuesday Night Pimp Fight. And you're only allowed to use the open palm, and you get to put a little bit of baby powder on the hands. Whoever ends up with the most baby powder on the face wins. Loses because we got too much baby powder from getting handed. There's many different. We should can probably talk after this interview and see what we can do, bring some more entertainment.
I mean to tell you now. Come on.
See, I have audio of your first pilot of your donkey kicking challenge.
Yeah.
Tell me if this is the right clip. I think I have it. I think I have it ready.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Let me.
I hope so.
Just a second here. Let me see.
What?
There's a lot of metal there.
What? It's not. This isn't sword fighting.
What could they possibly be doing with that donkey?
It's just a donkey. The donkey kick, the mule kick.
It just seems like it's. I don't know. Z.
I don't love that because your back's always to your opponent. You know, you're just always trying to kick them from behind. It's just. It's entertaining.
So we have people out there that I want to know more about you, Trevor. So if they want to learn more about you, is ONX Sports the best place, or is there a YouTube video you'd encourage them to watch? Where can we see you being you?
I mean, that's the best way to reach me. And, yes, you can find a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube and stuff from my career as a coach and also from fighting.
We want to buy stuff from you. Our listeners want to buy stuff from you. What can we buy? What kind of things can we this is an entrepreneurship show. Some of us want to buy books. Some of us want to buy some boxing gloves. What can we buy? We want to buy things from you.
Man, right now, boxing gloves is what we sell. We're actually working on a new glove for the UFC right now, and then also helping them out with their injury problem, and it's all in training. Like, it's crazy to me that 70% of injuries are happening in training, but that's typically how combat sports has been for a long period of time. And if you look at equipment, let's say NFL has about a 30% injury in practice. But they also have 52 case studies on equipment. And when you look at boxing and MMA, there's no case studies on equipment. And I feel like that's a big loophole, is they just think that boxers and kickboxers and mixed martial artists are just tough. But, hey, toughen up, just put on this equipment. But it's mass-produced, and they really just don't have any premium stuff out there to keep these guys healthy when they're preparing for fights. But we've released gloves, and unfortunately, we are sold out again. It's our fourth run that we've done, and we've sold out every time. And now we're releasing a full training kit, which will be coming here in about 35 days. It'll be making it here to America, and super cool stuff. It's a good story to sell out, but I always feel bad for all my customers because they're just waiting for the next stuff.
Trevor, it's so many
Good
great
problem to have, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So many great business stories are about a guy or a gal that get involved in a sport or get involved in an activity. And when they get involved, they realize that what's available for them to purchase is not very good. In other words, the guy that started Oakley just sold, I think, for over $1 billion.
Good job.
He got on and he realized that the hand grips on the bicycles weren't that good. So he started off by making hand grips on the bicycles. So do you see yourself making more money in producing goods for the sport or coaching and having a gym for the sport? Where do you see that? And by the way, that is so awesome.
Coaching's always going to be with me. Like, I'm going to coach one or two athletes, and I coach two right now. Like, again, I love to help people out, but I've been doing it for 22 years now, and I've hit every goal that I wanted to hit as a coach. So now it's about reaching new goals and accomplishing new things. So now it's in business. And, man, I'm looking forward to changing the industry and helping the industry that has really helped me change my life.
And that is a lesson for every entrepreneur out there, or every person that wants to be an entrepreneur. Find a problem, make it better, fix it. And that's what you've done with your equipment. You know, you had a problem, you got your mom's sewing machine, and you just started. I love that. I reverse engineered it, and I just started making it.
I've got two more questions I want to ask you here. Conor McGregor. I know nothing about UFC. I don't know a lot about it. It's unbelievable what great shape these athletes are in. I mean, it's just I wince when I watch. I'm like, Can talk to me about the trash talk that's going on during the fight, because you can't on TV you can't see if they're still talking trash while they're throwing haymakers at each other. I would think that you would have to dial that down a little bit while you're throwing haymakers. Have you ever been up ringside with Conor McGregor? Do people still talk to trash while they're amidst the fighting?
You know, it's everybody's different. And Conor McGregor, yes, has built a name off of the trash talk. He's selling fights. And, I always say that you can like one of my athletes, Rose Namajunas, who was the champion at strawweight, one of the most famous female athletes. And she did it by saying, hey, I just want everybody to hug each other. And she's all about facing her own fears and facing something that scares her. And super talented and has been known because she's such a technician, but she is real about the fear and fighting. So every athlete has a uniqueness to him, and Conor McGregor definitely talks a lot of stuff. But once that cage door closes, all that goes out. It then becomes real, and you can't fight mad. If you fight mad, you make bad decisions. It's you got to be sharp, and trash talk to me is fake. And when you're talking about someone else and making stuff up, it is truly what you're doing. You're making it up. You're trying to either get yourself ready for the fight, trying to piss the guy off, and that's old boxing tactics, is try to get in their head, make them think about you all the time, and then they lose sleep and lose rest, and you're almost wearing them out without even fighting them. But again, once you're in there, all that goes out the door, and you've got to stay sharp and focused.
Clay, that's why I think you've really missed your mark. With your trash-talking ability,
Yeah.
you could have been one of the best.
I could have been.
You could have been.
I missed my college.
You did.
I missed my. See, you know
Unbelievable.
what? That makes me feel bad.
Sad.
Makes me feel bad.
Sad.
Makes
Sad.
me feel sad.
Sad.
Bad.
Bad.
And but then part of me is I feel free, and I feel like this. I don't know. Okay. Now I want to ask you this here, Trevor. Mike Tyson, the famous American boxer. Now he's tours around sharing his story. He has a great quote, and I love this quote. I've used this quote often. In fact, this is the one Mike Tyson quote I ever use. He says, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth."
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about that? Because I feel like I might have a plan. Z, I'm getting ready to go into the fight. I'm got myself mentally ready to go. I think I've been watching Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I've been training. I've been eating raw eggs. I've been running around chasing chickens. I've been doing what Trevor Wittman's saying to do, and then I got it all. I got the whole thing working. See, I'm on fire. I got this energy, and I get in
Looking
there,
good.
and then all of a sudden I get hit one time. I'm out.
Bam.
Can you talk to me about what that feels like to get just bam, just hit, and how do you keep going, my man?
The key is it's like life. It's like you guys have done businesses. I use it in common day life. You can have a plan in business, but if you are hit with something that you're not used to, you don't have the experience for it, you just got to work through it. And the key is have a plan, but your plan is always going to change. And you just got to be able to adjust. And that's what makes great fighters, is how they adjust to adversity. The people who go out there and knock everybody out with the first punch, I mean, that's not a fighter. That's someone who's gifted with explosion. But how do they deal with getting off the canvas? And to me, that's common day life. And it's very easy for you to want to quit in that scenario, because as you get up, it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher. But the key is, the best part about getting knocked down is being able to get back up. And when you go into business or into a fight knowing that you're going to take punches and you're okay with it, that's what you signed up for. I mean, that's the key to success.
Now, what would you've seen a lot of boxers up close, and I'm just trying to think of the boxers that people would know, or the fighter, some of the names that everyone would know. See, the common man, the person who's not really into boxing that would know. Could you share with me, Trevor, is there some guy that you've seen, what boxer or what MMA guy or what kickboxer was truly the most savage, brutal? I think of Mike Tyson, but the guy who just was the technique, the ferocity, they had the whole thing working. What's the boxer you look at, or the fighter you look at and go, that is the best I've ever seen?
Like George St. Pierre in MMA, and Mike Tyson when he was priming. I mean, having a video game made just about yourself, he was the key in the prime of boxing when heavyweights were great. I mean, you got Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali, but again, when you go in there with that sense and you almost seem unstoppable, almost like you're some superhuman. But again, it's so hard to be perfect. And any one of the greats out there, you're going to see them lose at a certain point. And again, I love to see people who are talented, and then when they lose, how do they deal with that? And that's where I see the true fighter is if they're able to overcome those scenarios. Because, again, one punch will change any fight.
Yeah. Trevor, I don't know, you don't know Clay personally, but from what you know of him, how many rounds do you think he would last against you in the ring?
Don't ask that.
I mean, how many rounds do you think he'd last? Does he? You think he'd get three?
127th.
That's world class. I was not a world class boxer. I was very talented. I was an amateur, but those guys are world class. One thing about Cassius Clay is he was a great talker. He knew how to sell.
No, I meant you against Clay Clark.
I believe he still holds the record for the longest distance run backwards.
Oh.
Which I believe is 24 miles. 24 miles backwards. Just for someone to be able to run 24 miles backwards, that's unique in itself.
Wow. No, I met Clay Clark, my beautiful.
Oh no! Don't do
beautiful
that to me.
man.
No.
Hey, similar names. Hey, to include you guys together, that's a cool thing.
Maybe you and I, Z, together could stay in the ring with Trevor for a minute.
I don't know. I couldn't run backwards for 24 miles, maybe 24 feet.
Now, my final question for Trevor, Z, and then I'll let you wrap it up with whatever you want to ask Mr. Trevor here, because I just want to make sure the listeners out there have adequate time to go to onxsports.com. They got to go there, Z.
Got to go there.
But I got one more question. I know you have one more question as well. When you step into the ring, right, and this is the best way I could picture it. You step in, and this is kind of what the music they're playing on fight nights. They're trying to get that hype energy going. See, they got the, they got the lights are going. There's like a fog machine.
Oh,
the other opponent's walking in wearing the hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
Foggers. And there's those scorecard ladies running around.
Yeah.
The room gets dark.
Oh, yeah.
And they get on the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, now wearing the blue shorts from Colorado. It's Trevor Wittman. And when you come on, when you get out there and the crowd's going, there's that energy. You know what I'm saying? See, the crowd is just absolutely whooping it up. They're getting excited. They're screaming, oh! And then Trevor, right? Trevor. I got to ask you, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head? Are you going, uh-oh? Are you saying, I'm going to destroy this dude? Are you thinking, I mean, what, do you have a mantra? Are you saying something? I have to get it. Let me inside the cranium.
So I would say when you're in there, that's the best part, is because you're focused when you're in there. The hard part is in the locker room and the whole day prior to the fight, getting your hands wrapped up. Those are the times where you're always second guessing yourself. And that's the hard part. Once you're there, you feel the energy from the crowd. I mean, you're in it. You're focused. It's a traumatic situation, so you have to be honed in. But it's prior to the walk, before seeing the crowd, that's where you're lost in thought with yourself. And again, with all the questions of doubt, how am I going to win? What has that guy been doing differently than me? That's where you will end up beating yourself. But once you're in there, I mean, you feel the energy, and you're focused.
That's awesome.
That's how I felt. I felt when I was in there, I felt focused.
That had to be a little bit of a rush too, right, Trevor?
Oh yeah. And the funny part is I talk to my athletes all the time. It's everybody fears fighting. You fear what the outcome's going to be. But once you're done, win, lose, or draw, once it's over, you're asking when is the next one. There's no rush like it. And again, it's a key to life. Face your fears. If you're facing your fears, once you're done with it, it wasn't that bad. It's always that scenario. It's not that bad. And if you can go and chase life like that, if you fear it, they have Tinder now where you can swipe left, swipe right. But when I grew up, you had to go up and ask a girl's number. And if I was scared to ask a girl's number, and I was afraid to talk to her, I was worried about what she would say. And if you fear things in life, that's the key to life. Is if you fear it, chase it. And then life becomes a fun ride, and you're usually chasing something you want if it scares you.
Okay, Trevor, my last question. You've been in the business of the fighting world for around 20 years or so, from my calculations, right? Plus or minus around 20 years.
Coaching 22, and about 30 years in the game, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, 30 years in the game, but coaching, so the business side of it, I would say, like where you're making the money.
Making the money.
You're the making the money for 20 some odd years.
He's making the money.
You're making him an offer they can't refuse. If you want to come into my gym, this is what it's going to take.
From Colorado.
I tell you what, I just want my beak wet. I just don't want the whole thing. So if you could go back 20 years or 22 years specifically and have a conversation with yourself as you're beginning the entrepreneur or the business side of the fight world, well, what would you tell yourself?
Going back 20 years. Here we go. Going back.
I would say one of the keys is don't listen to everybody. A lot of times we have conversations with the people around us, people that love us, but a lot of times I feel like that will break down what you're really trying to chase. What you see, what Picasso painted, he knew what he was going to paint. And if he were to tell someone what he was going to paint, they can't see what he was going to paint. When you tell people what you're going to do, usually it comes with, oh, how are you going to do that? And again, when you keep things to yourself and you don't know you're just driven to face that target, a lot of times when you open up to other people, you're facing how they can't do it. And again, you start to live in a mindset of thought of all that chatter and the drifting of how you're not going to do it. I always say, hey, keep it to yourself and make sure that your circle is strong and the people that you're around are chasing the same things, because a lot of people can hold you back. A lot of times you open up your thoughts to other people, and I feel like everybody's kind of just living in that, well, how and why would you do it differently? And again, everybody's unique to self. Everybody likes different flavors of ice cream, so find out what it is that you like, obsess it, and it's just a destination. Make sure you get there.
No, that's great. Great advice.
Great advice, see. That is great.
Can we use that as tip one? Can we substitute your other tip? Signing fight agreements as a juvenile versus...
Yeah, we're going to give him a mega point.
Can we replace this one as tip one?
Stupidest thing to do, but
we give him a mega point. He leaves with a mega point.
Don't break rules, especially with your parents.
All right. Well, Trevor, we appreciate you so much for your time. And this show will be, I know, well received by our listening audience. And again, we just appreciate all you do. And I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a blast. You guys are a fun group to talk to.
All right. You take care.
Take care, Trevor.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! Thank you for calling the Thrivetime Show. This is Clavis. How can I help you? Oh, I know how I can help you. You are listening to the podcast, so I should probably teach you something. All right, here's the deal. At the Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge chain, or at OxyFresh, the carpet cleaning franchise that is owned by my partner and friend, Jonathan Barnett, or any of the businesses that I'm involved in or own or I'm a partner with, we record our calls. Now, I thought a great way to explain why we record our calls would be to have Daisy, the flower of the phones, the call center manager, hop on the show. And Daisy, could you explain why we record our calls at the Elephant in the Room?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's a great tool for accountability and holding your employees responsible for sticking to a script. And it's a great way to catch any weirdness that might result as a product of not sticking to that script.
Now, we have great customers and great employees, okay? But how often per week, because we have about 4,000 customers that you manage there, how often per week does somebody who's a customer call in and say that they said something that they didn't actually say?
Oh, gosh, at least 5 times a day.
Okay, so 5 times a day, a customer will call in and say that they said something that they didn't say.
Oh, yeah.
And how often do you catch an employee saying they said something that they didn't say?
Probably 6 times a day.
All right. So the reality is you want to know what your people are actually doing. Andrew Carnegie, the world's wealthiest man during his lifetime, who grew up poor and started working at the age of 13, he once wrote, he says, "As I get older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do." Well, how are you going to know what your people are doing if you can't hear the calls? If you were a basketball coach, how could you coach the team if you weren't at the game and didn't watch the game? I mean, how could you help your football team get better if you didn't watch the game or at least watch the video of your team at the game? How could you just look at the scoreboard and say, well, guys, we're losing, so we should probably run a new play? No, you've got to actually watch the game. You've got to listen to your calls. Andy Grove, write that name down. Andy Grove, the CEO, the former co-founder of Intel, the microchip people, he says, only the paranoid survive. Only the paranoid survive. Why? Well, Clay, you're not being positive. Well, President Ronald Reagan, okay, Reaganomics, okay. He said, the 40th president of the United States, he said, what did he say? He said, trust but verify. That's huge. So I decided, let's bring Tim on the show. Tim actually works in the call center. He's a great guy. Tim, can you share with the listeners out there, what were you doing before you joined the Elephant in the Room team?
I worked at Reese's Pharmacy.
You worked there and you knew, I believe, Jonathan Kelly, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Jonathan Kelly, who's the manager of all things in the office, was a buddy of yours from your time at Reese's, I believe. And John told me that you'd be a great fit for the team. How did you hear about the job up here?
Jonathan asked me to come in and check it out, and it was actually like a surprise interview for me because
nice.
I had no idea what was going on,
and we didn't let you leave without taking the job.
Yeah, and Jonathan was like, "Yeah, I'll take a half day," and I showed up, and he was like, all right, so I'm going to head out and you're going to follow Clay around. And I was like, doesn't Clay own the company? And he's like, yeah, you're just going to follow him around.
An ambush job recruitment there. Now, your calls are recorded, and could you share with the listeners how having your calls recorded and being able to hear your own calls has been able to impact you or help you improve?
Oh yeah, it's made a world of difference. When I got here, I was honestly horrendous, which is terrifying because I've been talking to people on the phone for 6 years now for work. So
yeah.
If that's been a constant, I've never listened to my calls until I started here, and I've never had any feedback on it. So
you don't even know if you're doing a good job or a bad job.
No, it's
and you do a really good job now. Could you maybe explain how you've improved? Because I feel like you've made huge improvements. I know you have. But I'd like to hear from your perspective. And I know the listeners would too. How have you been able to improve as a result of hearing your calls?
Oh, it's made a world of difference because we have all the recorded calls. We have plenty of information to go off there, and we'll have the group meetings once a week and listen to the calls and hearing my own and mistakes others have made. It's something that I can constantly have in the back of my mind while I'm on the phone about what needs to be done, what shouldn't be done. And it's just, it makes all the difference.
Now, Daisy, what I thought we would do is I thought we would queue up at our expense the worst calls ever.
Oh, no.
Well, we're going to queue up, but we won't play a customer's name over the air.
Okay.
And we won't play an employee's name over the air, but we are going to play audio. And I will say this, Tim, you've gotten better. Your energy is better on the phone. Your pacing is better. It sounds great, but it's more marked improvement. How long did it take you to get good at your job, you think, with the calls? Because you do a great job now.
I didn't save the date, but as soon as I got over being so nervous about it and,
30 days? 60 days?
Yeah, less than a month, I would say.
Less than a month. And I will just tell you, if you're out there listening today, what you don't know will absolutely kill you. You see, when you assume it makes a boop out of you and me, when you assume it makes a boop out of you and me, what's that word? What's that sound? When you assume it makes a out of you and me. So Daisy's going to queue up a terrible, not so good, very bad, terrible call. And we're going to break down what's wrong with the call. And you can understand why if you don't record your calls, you're going to lose. If you're a pastor of a church and you don't watch your own praise and worship service and sermons, you will lose. If you are a pastor and you don't watch the youth pastor preach, you will lose. And if you're a football coach and you don't watch the game film, you will lose. And if you're a call center manager and the flower of the phones and you don't record your calls, you will lose. You cannot win if you don't know what's happening. What's happening? What's happening is bad things, terrible things. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 75% of American employees steal from the workplace, and that includes time. Employees sitting around, not answering the phone. Daisy, we have video cameras installed.
Yeah.
Why?
So that we can hold people accountable and make sure they're not doing weird stuff and stealing things.
And one might say, well, Clay, what phone system do you use to record the calls? I use Clarity Voice. Clarity, Clarity Voice. And you might say, why do you use Clarity Voice? Do they pay you to say that? Well, here's the deal. No, they don't. I use Clarity Voice because it's the best. At OxyFresh, they use Clarity Voice. We use Clarity Voice at Elephant in the Room. Tip Top Canine uses Clarity Voice. It's the best system. It's the best system. Now, here's the deal. I'm so passionate about the system that I've been telling hundreds of people, thousands of people to use Clarity Voice. And then they reached out to me, boop, 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 and they said, hey, we would like for you to be like a sponsor guy, like an endorser guy. Since you refer us all the time, why don't you become like a sponsor guy? So here's how it works. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com/clarity, thrivetimeshow.com/clarity, go slower, I'm using an Etch-a-Sketch. thrivetimeshow.com/clarity, CLARITY. They're going to give you all sorts of free stuff, all sorts of discounts. They can track it, and then I might make some extra money so I can go buy some more Yeezys. All right, so thrivetimeshow.com/clarity. Now let's go ahead and queue up some no good, terrible, very bad, rotten phone calls so you can hear what happens when you don't record your calls.
Thank you for calling Elephant in the Room. This is how may I help you? Sorry to bother you again. Which room is it in, or which building?
Oh, I hate listening.
There's like a bunch of stores over here.
There should be an elephant sticker on the window of the office building. Without really looking at it or being able to see what you're looking at, it's kind of hard to tell.
What?
Well, I'm by the stumbling monkey.
Wait for it. Pause. Awkward.
What'd you say?
The stumbling monkey.
Sorry, I'm not able to do my job.
Give me 1 second, man.
So awkward. Now, see, that you could see if you were a customer why you would be frustrated if the person you're calling doesn't even know where you're located. And Daisy, what other kinds of abominations would that particular individual do over and over before we finally had to let him go?
Oh my goodness. So he went in and edited the schedule and did not show up for a shift on Saturday. Told me, oh, I must have gotten the wrong schedule. And I looked back and I was like, I know I don't.
And because we have keystroke recorders and because Google tracks, we were able to see he did what?
He changed his own schedule and tried to make me think he was only scheduled from 12 to 5, which I've never scheduled anyone ever to do.
Right. Tim, is this shocking to you? You worked at Reese's, a great place. Is it shocking to you that an employee would lie about his hours? Come on, man. You work.
I would never even consider doing something myself.
Did you ever work with somebody who did fabricate their hours or did do something shady at work? Ever? You worked with a bunch of angels?
Yeah, nothing back like that ever happened back in my department, but you hear about stuff like that all the time for sure.
Now, again, is it shocking to you, Daisy, that the call, that at no point did he bring energy? At no point did he really help the guy? Is it shocking to you?
It's painful. It's very, very painful.
Yeah, and I could go sit there and play calls all day, except everyone would be laughing at my expense. It's not cool when you take a customer into the sauna of awkwardness with you where you're like, people, they freak out when there's that silence.
Yeah.
It's just that
they
weird.
can't handle it.
They can't. They don't want to go in the sauna with you. All they want to know is where you're located. They don't want to have you just breathing on the phone line. So again, if you're out there today and you're not recording your calls, there's a if you don't know what to do, that's like, okay, I didn't know what to do. I'm getting educated. Thank you. That's fine. But if you know what to do and you choose not to do, and I don't care whether you use Clarity Voice. I mean, you should because they're good, but you could use 8x8. That's a great company. Clarity of Voice is a great company. 8x8. It's 8x. Let me pull it up here. It's 8x8.com. That's a great company. Okay. Clarity Voice is a great company. But if you know what to do, if you're somebody who understands what to do and you're going, I know what to do. I don't really want to do it. I mean, I know what to do. I know to record my calls. I don't want to do it. I'm trying to think of a word that would come to mind. I would think it would be foolish. And then I kind of think of what word means foolish, or a person affected by extreme, the inability to comprehend cause and effect. The kind of person who doesn't know what you're talking about. That person would be defined as an idiot. Now, I'm not saying you, the listener, are an idiot if you don't record your calls. I'm saying that people who don't record their calls are idiots. Not you, other people. So again, if you care about your business at all, Daisy, how often do we catch abominations, crimes against humanity, and jackassery on the phones at the elephant in the room or any of the other clients we work with?
It's literally every single day.
Every single day. List off for me some of the crazy things that you have caught customers saying or our team saying over the years that have caused us to either fire a customer or fire an employee or to make some drastic changes.
They'll make inappropriate remarks. So I had somebody that tried to buy time with one of my employees.
Whoa.
Was trying to bet that he knew what her age was, and if he guessed her age, he would have to give her a gift card, and she would have to be the one to check him out for his haircut at the evening. And then she made this. He made this comment that he would prefer for her to call him names.
Wow. Do you mind if we dance with your dates?
What other weird things have you heard customers saying on the phone lines over the years? Just weird stuff where you thought, I don't know I don't know. I didn't know that life worked this way.
Yeah, they've asked for massages.
Whoa! See, this is what I'm talking. I don't even want to talk about it. Have you ever heard a recorded call where you thought to yourself, "I don't even want to talk"? You feel shame just by hearing the recorded call.
Yeah, I need a therapy session afterwards. Some of them get pretty weird.
I hear an abomination on the phone lines of either my clients or one of my businesses every single day. And let me tell you what, customers can vote with their dollars, okay? Customers can vote with their dollars. If they're not happy with the service, they can go somewhere else, all right? But also as a business owner, if I'm not happy with the client who's being sexually inappropriate to one of our female stylists, I can punt them too. So again, principles I want you to understand today. You have to record your calls or your business will fall off a cliff called mediocrity. You've got to record your calls or your business will fall off a cliff called mediocrity. Now, what's the company I recommend? I recommend Clarity Voice. How do you get a good deal? Go to thrivetimeshow.com/clarity. thrivetimeshow.com/clarity. Tim, you work in the call center. What's your final justification and reason why you think all the business owners out there should record their calls?
Yeah, if you want to make sure you actually have a good call and don't sound like you're having a panic attack while you're talking to a customer, it'd probably be a good idea to record your calls.
Daisy, what's your final encouragement as a call center manager? How impossible would your job be without recording calls? What's your final tip for the listeners out there?
Yeah, so I had a friend.
Well, I just look at Tim. He's like my personal testimony. We literally called him the nervous bomb diffuser for the first 6 months he worked with me. And it's like he went from nervous bomb diffuser to Brad Pitt overnight.
And I used to be the fast-talking, confused guy at my first job. And they played my calls, and they're like, wow, you talk fast, and wow, you're confused. And so we all have some sort of dysfunction that we can't fix, right?
Absolutely.
We can't hear the calls.
Absolutely.
So if you're out there today, again, go to thrivetimeshow.com/clarity. And without any further ado, we'd like to end each and every show with a boom. So, Tim, are you ready to bring the boom?
Oh, yeah.
Daisy, are you prepared to bring the boom?
I'm so ready.
3, 2, 1,
boom!
Seeing Randy's success and another one of our insurance friends. Work with you as well. Yeah.
Now, it's fun about our insurance friend. Is our insurance friend now? He was telling me he's in the top, I believe, 1% of all insurance agents now in the country. And he went from, doing okay to doing great. You went from doing okay to doing great. Randy went from doing okay to doing great. And money's just a magnifier. Money just allows you to have the time freedom and financial freedom to do more of what you want to do anyway. When you and your wife aren't running your flow photography business, what are the kinds of things that you and your wife like to do together?
Yeah, so we are super involved in our local church, and it's really our heartbeat. My wife is she plays the piano and leads worship at our church. I serve in our kids ministry every week and speak in there and work with kids. And one of the things we really like to do, we'll kind of travel it. I'm sure you've heard. I know he's been at some of the Reawaken American tours, but Sean Foyt. We're big fans of Sean Foyt, and so we've had the chance to travel across the country to attend some of his live events. And so, yeah, just trying to stay real hooked up in the church.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your YouTube channel for a second, and I'm going to just show people kind of the work that you do because you guys provide real estate. You provide real photography for real estate. You do videography. You do drone. You provide that content for real estate agents. So if a real estate agent out there, they're listing a house, they're listing a commercial building. They need photos, videos, 3D tours, the whole thing. I'm on the YouTube channel. Is there any particular recent project you want to direct me to, or can I maybe just click on this one here with the pool, the house with the pool? Is that fine?
Yeah, any of them's great.
Okay, I'll click on this one here. And again, this is what you would be creating if you own a flow photography. This is the work you would be producing. Oh yeah, 2401 West Sierra Springs, Edmond. Now, folks, real quick, one service that Ryan doesn't currently provide is narration of the home tours, but this is something I'm willing to provide for this one. Here we go. Do you want to live in this house? Do you want to have that be your lawn? Do you want that little star thing in do you want that horse head? Do you want that horse head? Does that horse head speak to you? Does the call of the wild resonate with you when you see that star? Do you want that bull's head? Do you want that wood floor? Is that what you need? Do you want that deer head? It's all negotiable. If you buy this house, if you buy this beautiful house at 2401 West Sierra Springs in Edmond, do you Do you want that painting of that? You want that picture of that family? No, you can't have that picture because that picture's their family. You got to put your own family. You want that stove? You can get that stove. You want that granite? Oh, there's no Formica there, folks. That's granite. Oh, you want that stove? You want the living room? You want the lights? You want all this? You want to buy this house? You want to live in this house? You want this to be your home? You want that aquarium? You want to feed those fish? You want that painting? You want all of this? Is this what you want? You gotta fill out the form and contact your local agent. They're gonna charge you 6%, and that's fair. Oh, that's very fair. That's a fair number. So fair. You'll pay a 6% commission because you've been inspired by these photos to buy the house at 2401 West Sierra Springs. Okay, they don't do narration. they don't do narration with the photo.
I'm gonna have to hire you, Clay.
I don't know if it's a good idea to taunt the prospective buyer. Okay, so then you guys do photos though too, not just. So where can I go to find photos? Where on your website can I see examples?
Yeah, just go to flowphotos.com and click on the gallery.
I got it. Okay, here we go. All right, click it on the gallery. And this is all. So you do real estate photography. You got the photos. It turns out people look at the photos before they buy a house. I don't know if people know this, but it seems kind of obvious to most of our listeners, I would think. But the vast majority of people look for the home they're going to buy looking online. They go online, they look at the photos, then they schedule an appointment with the real estate agent. And the photos, the clarity and the brightness and the imagery of the photos really does determine how many leads a real estate agent gets. And you do commercial photography as well. You got that. Now you do the drones thing. Are you liking the 3D tours too? Do you like the 3D tours?
Yeah, the 3D tours have become super popular. You know, it's kind of what you see whenever you look at houses online, apartments online, something like that, where you can actually click through and view the property and sort of click and go all around in 360 space. They're super popular, and websites like Zillow.com actually give listings that have 3D tours preferred rank, so they show up on the list higher than listings that don't. So
now I'm walking through this house here. I'm walking through it. I have a little question, and just how come you don't have motivational music with the 3D tour? Like, why don't you? What's that all about? Can you?
Yeah, no. Hopefully that technology is coming soon. Right now, it's not available. But
that's
yeah. Just pull up your Spotify or something. You can.
Let me get the right music for this moment. Let me get the right. I think I got the right music. Let me see. Okay. Oh, this will be the best music. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. I think I've got, no, that's not it. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, here we go. I think I've got it. Yes, here we go.
Reveal your rivals.
Nope, that's a commercial. Let me, folks, you're going to want to buy this house as a result of this tour here. Here we go.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
Are you ready to buy this house?
His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sack with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake.
I feel like I need to look around more frantically. I need to
as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Okay, so that would be the theme song. I would go with that one. Okay, so
perfect.
And then if people want to learn how to buy a flow, what are the steps? What's step 1, step 2? Walk us through the steps to owning a flow photography.
Yep. So the first thing would be to go to flowphotos.com and click on open your own flow photography.
Look at it.
Read through the information that's there. We kind of break down the process and the costs. And then at the bottom, there's a form that you can fill out. Just give us your name, email, phone, and in the notes, just say, hey, I'm interested in opening a flow photography.
Yep.
What we'll do is we'll give you a call to schedule just really like 15 to 30 minute conversation. Where we'll break down the numbers, the process, we'll talk about everything that you get as a licensee and the responsibilities that we at Flow Corporate would have as well. And then we'll get a shadow day scheduled. So that would be the next big step. So you'll actually come to Oklahoma City for a half day of shadowing, and you'll go on photo shoots with us. You'll see what it's like to interact with clients, to take pictures of houses, to fly a drone, to do a video, to do a 3D tour. And if it still sounds like something that you're interested in, then the next step is to schedule training. And that's going to be back in Oklahoma City as well. A couple of days of training where you'll have a hands-on experience with the cameras, the drone, all the things. And then we'll kind of go through that process of getting you up and going.
So step 1, fill out the form at flowphotos.com. Step 2, schedule a free consultation. Step 3, schedule Discovery Day in Oklahoma City. Step 4, if it's a good fit, go ahead and sign the agreement and begin training, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then if I own one, and on a daily basis, correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's 4 things I need to do on a daily basis. I got to take photos. I got to train people to take photos. If I have employees, I have to teach my whole team how to take photos. So I have to take photos and videos and 3D tours, but I also have to teach people how to do it.
Yep.
Then I need to maintain good relationships with realtors, make sure they're happy. And I need to gather objective reviews from happy customers. I mean, it seems to me like that's what the core business is. And then you edit the photos for me. So if I'm the local guy and I take the photos, I give them to you and then you edit them and doctor them up. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So you don't have to worry about editing at all. You're pretty much just pushing a button. I mean, that's really all you're doing is just hitting a button. If you can hold a camera and you can hit a button, then you're definitely able to do this job and to grow this business. We have an editing team that'll handle all the editing for you. We'll handle the delivery of the photos to the clients, to your realtor clients as well, so that all that's taken care of.
And you're the founder. You're Ryan Wells. That's who they'd be talking to if they fill out the form, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so folks, again, Ryan's been a long-time client. I'm honored to serve him in that capacity. He's a patriot. He loves America. Loves Sean Foyt Praise and Worship, but he wants to help you. So if you want to own your own business, you want to quit and leave corporate America and do your own thing, this may be a great opportunity for you, or it might not be a good fit. But in order for you to know, you just got to go to flowphotos.com. That's flowphotos.com and click on the button to learn more about opening your own flow photography. It's a big yellow button up here. Click it. We'll schedule a consultation. Next thing you know, you'll be on the phone with Ryan Wells, and we'll see if it's a good fit. Ryan, thank you so much. And I'll have more innovative ideas with the music and the narration next week. I know that so far, 0% of the ideas I've suggested on today's show will be implemented, but I'll come back each week with more and more hot ideas.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Clay.
Take care, brother. Bye.
Bye.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Morrow. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985. I established my practice here in Tulsa in 1985.
One of the things that I hear in my world a lot as a business consultant from business owners is they will tell me, Clay, I want you to help me, but my industry is different. And so on today's show, I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a pediatric dentist. And I also am going to introduce you to a wonderful client who's a real estate agent. And I'm also going to introduce you to a wonderful client who does mortgages, and a wonderful client who's a family doctor, and a wonderful client who trains dogs, and a wonderful client who runs the UPS stores for all of Canada. Then I'll introduce you to a wonderful client who has a massive real estate empire, real estate franchise empire. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client that sells new homes. Then I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful client who sells insurance, and then a wonderful client who runs a church, and a wonderful client who the wonderful client who sells insurance. I think I mentioned that. A wonderful client that has a research lab. And at the end of the day, you'll discover that if you will follow the proven systems that I will teach you at our in-person workshops or through our one-on-one coaching program, it's like bumper bowling for business. It's like if you're tired of throwing gutter balls and you want to have success, this system will absolutely change your life. It's a step-by-step system. It's a linear workflow. It's going to absolutely change your life. And now, without any further ado, here is Dr. Morrow sharing about how this system has changed his life and his business's life and the lives of his employees and the growth of his pediatric dentistry. So here we go.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due, and Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
The Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Whoa. During the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop.
Whoa. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrivetime Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshops. We have had the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What?
Yes, we've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the 2-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrivetime Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com. Simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrivetime Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hours. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.